It's Brewing. I wanted to talk about something we're getting a lot of questions about right now, and that is non-resident licensing and how to sell insurance outside of your state. I think I'm getting a lot of questions on that right now because we've seen a huge increase in what we call virtual agencies, or people who don't necessarily need to be face-to-face to sell insurance to somebody due to COVID-19 and all the ripple effects that brought on. But something I want to keep in mind, that a lot of people think of growth for their agency and they think, I want to sell everywhere across the United States, and they start with selling in a neighboring state or in a local state. Some things to keep in mind if you are wanting to sell out of state. Number one is figuring out exactly why you want to do that. If you're wanting to just say, I want to grow in an area, I want to, I've done a lot of business in Missouri, let me try Kansas, let me try Illinois, let me try Florida, because a lot of people are moving to Florida. Keep in mind that growth needs to start at home first. There is no reason why you need to go out and start selling in other states, because there's plenty of opportunity in your area. So if you're thinking that you have to leave the state in order to grow, sure, it can come with grow, but it's certainly not something that has to happen. Now keep in mind, when you are looking to, things to remember when you are wanting to start selling out of state, number one is that it can get pretty costly pretty quickly. Let me just break this down for you. Every state, well, not every state, but majority of states actually cost money to be able to attain a non-resident license in that state. Non-resident means you're not a resident of that state. So imagine, again, if you're selling in Florida, Florida has a notably high non-resident licensing fee. And that's only if you're an individual. Keep in mind, if you are a business entity, more times than not, you actually have to make sure that your individual is licensed there as well as your business. So doubling the cost, your LLC or S Corp can oftentimes double the cost of being licensed in a non-residential state. So not only do you have to pay for the licensing fee of that non-residential state, you also, in some states, you have to pay for a sales fee or some sort of sales representative non-license or non-residential fee. So that's an additional price you're gonna have to pay. In addition to all of that, most carriers, not all, but most carriers will pay you an additional fee to be contracted or appointed in a non-residential state. So you have your individual license, your business entity license, your individual or business, and sometimes both appointment fee in that state. So oftentimes it can get really expensive to start selling out of state just in the name of growth. Now, if you are working with an individual, that let's say you're working with somebody, you are a Kansas agent, your client is moving to Arizona or your client is moving to Florida, and you're thinking, I want to make sure I can maintain a relationship and continue to be their agent. That may be a good, again, depending on the cost and depending on where your commissions make up for that cost, can be a good opportunity to broaden your footprint in a state if you have a client moving down there. Maybe they can be referrals for you. Maybe they can bring you more clients. Maybe they can be kind of a word of mouth and build something for you there, but it's certainly not something that I would count on as a client going out and telling the world about their insurance agent, 700 miles that way. So just keeping that in mind. It is, again, if you are somebody that you have downline in multiple states or have agents who represent multiple different states, there are ways you can make the most out of those opportunities, but just knowing that if you're growing in your area, growth does not have to come from outside of your state. It can get pretty costly pretty fast. So just keep that in mind. It may be a great opportunity for you if you want to have a conversation of, is this an area that makes sense for me to grow? You can call Senior Marketing Specialist, 1-800-689-2800. Again, 1-800-689-2800, talking about state licensing, state appointments. It is a good opportunity for you. Until next time, thanks guys.